Hello guys, what's up? Yesterday we had covered the money market, that is the money, then sorry, monetary policy part first. So today we are going to cover the monetary policy and credit policy part second. So first is like RBI. So we know that this is RBI. So we know that RBI was created with the act of that RBI Act 1934. So it is a statutory body and it was created on the basis of recommendation of Hilton Young. That was the commission with which it was created. So when it was first established in the first time RBI, that was privately owned. So now later on in 1949, it was also nationalized. So what are the functions of RBI? So first one is like monopoly to issue the banknotes. So only institution in India, which is the RBI, which can issue the banknotes. So it's a monopoly of RBI. Second is like setting the official interest rate. So what should be the interest rate of bank? All this now they are decided by the RBI. Then it is a government banker. Means like it provided the loans to government. All these. Also it is a lender of last resort. Means whenever the government don't have any hope from other resources, it is the last one to give loan to the government. And it also manages the foreign exchange and gold reserve also. So there are two terms, legal tender and fiat money. It's important to understand the difference and meaning also. So legal tender means what? Like legal tender means like if any notes or currency, anything, if it is declared as a legal by government, then it may be backed by its metal, like maybe value, like intrinsic value, maybe gold, silver, or anything. It is called as a legal tender. So when there was like demonetization na, so government has said that there is no like currency notes of 500 and 1000 will not be legal backing. So legal tender was like cancelled. So these notes become outdated, like that one. So whenever it is backed by the legal, that legal status, when government declare it is legal, then it is called a legal tender. Then what is a fiat money? Fiat money means like that money which don't have any intrinsic value. Means for example, we know that like 10 rupees note is there or any 100 rupees note is there. If you like it's just like piece of paper. Means like if you sell just like without intrinsic value, it will be like just like 2 rupees, 1 rupees is something. Means it don't have any intrinsic value of its own self. Then now RBI and printing, that whatever the printing currency, though RBI na, they have to um, store some gold and foreign reserve up to like 200 crore, and of whatever the 200 crore, 115 crore must should be the gold only. Remember, this is MCQ, that a UPC can ask question only. Then what are the other functions of RBI? Like bankers to government, I told you. Then it is also bankers to bank. Means like when bank want like loan and other things na, that RBI provides them loan. Then it is also lender of last resort. Then also it control the controller of credit. Means like how it is control the credit, like repo rate, reverse repo rate, open market operation, all this through this RBI, that is qualitative and quantitative tools. RBI control the credit. Then it also agent and advisor to the government. Means like what is mean by agent of government? Like on the part of government, it manages the debt of the government. All these it also issue the government bonds and treasury bills. Also sometimes advises government on various financial matters also. Then it also act as a financial advisor. RBI as a debt manager also there, because it's whatever the government take loan from outside na, these are paid by the RBI, and that interest, all these are managed by the RBI only. Then RBI as a national clearing house also. What is meant by national clearing house? Means like settling, if this is one bank or this is A or this is B bank. So whatever the financial matter between them na, they are like interbank claim na, they are settled with the help of RBI. Then it is also custodian of foreign reserves. So whatever the forex na, it is with the RBI only. So it help in the stabilizing the foreign exchange. And the forex is stored mainly in the currency asset gold or the IM, that SDR, IMF SDR. So how RBI manages the foreign exchange? So remember, this is India and this is USA. So this is Indian rupee and this is USA dollar. So in if there is a case when there are like so much demand is there, means like so many people are asking for, or a dollar is less in market, so what will happen, that dollar will appreciate and rupee will depreciate. I hope you understand. When there is less dollar in the market, so in this case, RBI, what RBI do? RBI issues the dollar. Means what will happen? The dollars number were earlier less, na, they will now increase. So if dollars number will increase, they will appreciate, and it will help in that balancing with the rupee. So I hope you understand how RBI manages, or the balances the foreign exchange rate with the help of whatever the forex reserve they have. Then supervisory functions of RBI, they are like license, whatever the license to bank na, they are given by RBI. Then it also help in the that implementing the deposit insurance scheme. Means if there is any bank default or anything na, so up to 5 lakh rupees bank will, they have to give compulsory to their consumer bank, that is the insurance, deposit insurance. Then giving direction to commercial banks also. Then it also like with the Banking Regulation Act 2017 na, that RBI is also empowered that any insolvency resolution process can be started if there is any increasing NPA or any fraud, all these cases. Then debt management agency. So before that we will understand what is meant by debt. Debt is our government debt. Generally it's called as public debt, but generally there are two types: public debt and other liabilities. Public debt is like with respect to Consolidated Fund of India, CFI, while the other liabilities na, they are public account, they are in public account. So public debt, there are again two type: internal and external. Internal again two type, like if they are borrowed from RBI or they borrowed from the market, while the external is like whatever the foreign trade, or sorry, foreign exchange, or the like foreigner investing, all these, or foreign borrowing, all these comes under the external. So these are like generally the whatever the debt. So what is need for the specialized agency for the managing the government debt? So they said that there should be holistic management for both internal and external liabilities. This is internal liability and this is external liability. They should be managed by the a specialized agency. Then there is a conflict of interest. Whatever the RBI do function, like at RBI decide the interest rate for the whatever the market, or whatever the bank rate should be decided by the RBI. But at the other end, it raises the loan for government. So it is a conflict. Now at one time you are saying that interest rate should be high or low, and at same time you are borrowing from the same bank for the government. So it is a conflict of interest. Then there is another conflict of interest as a regulator. That is like if they have RBI, if tell whatever the banks now, they have to keep high SLR, means like government will get so much, means if there is high SLR, they have to put in government securities, so which will prevent the corporate or private sector whatever the investment. If bank, they have to put so much money in the government deposit only, so they will lend very less to the private, so it will be like crowding out effect also. Then in 2009 there was a committee for financial sector reform, that Dr. Raghuram Rajan, and in 2013 there was like financial sector legislative reform, that was chaired by the B.N. Sri Krishna. So that committee had recommended also for the setting up a independent agency for the public debt management. So what are the arguments against and what are the arguments support? So against means like they said that whatever the sovereign debt management na, they impact is the various factors, they have impact on various factors like interest rate, I just explain, exchange rate, all these na, even private player crowding out, all these. So it need expertises, it can't be done like layman, all this. Then there is also conflict of interest, like there is like debt management organization. If it is a government arm only, and it act will under the government, mean the Minister of Finance, but at the same time government is owner of the majority of banks. So that how the debt will manage, at the one time they are saying we will manage debt, and on the other hand government itself is like whatever the borrower of loan, so there is also conflict of interest. Then inflation, they are saying that for managing inflation there is special body, like now government created that monetary policy committee, so on that respect they can create, but not like such a special body. So as intermediate step for the public debt management agency, so they created public debt management cell. under the RBI office Delhi. Then what is money supply, and there are very types. Means money supply means like whatever the aggregate money in the market. So there are four types: M1, M2, M3, and M4. M1 means like currency, whatever the public have, uh, along with plus demand deposit with like banks, means like current and saving deposit plus whatever the deposit with the RBI, they comes under the M1, and they are the narrow money. While M2 is like M1 plus deposit of the post office saving the account, that is the M2. While the broad money is like M3, basically it considers both like M1 plus time deposit with respect to bank system, while the M4 is like M3 plus all deposits of the post office. So this all comes under the money supply. Then Financial Stability and Development Council, it was created in 2010. So in 2008 Raghuram Rajan committee has recommended, so its chairman is Union Finance Minister, remember. And all these are member like governor of RBI, all these are member like Financial Security Chairman, all this not necessary to remember, just remember chairman is Union Finance Minister. This can be the MCQ. Then what are the responsibility of Financial Sector Development Council, Financial Stability Development Council? First is like financial stability, then financial literacy, financial inclusion, financial sector development. All these are done by the Financial Stability Development Council. Also, whatever the at international level, like India's commitment for financial sector, like Financial Action Task Force or the Financial Stability Board, all these they are done with the help of the Financial Stability Development Council. So, what is Financial Stability Board? So, it is an international body to monitor the what or whatever the financial situation at the global system, it is monitored by the financial stability. So there will be like stability, and it was established in 2009. We know that in 2008 there was like financial crisis. So in 2008 they said that there should, in 2009 there was G20 summit at London. So they said that there should be one committee which will monitor at international whatever the situation of the money market or all this means like what are the capital market, money market, or financial situation, so that there will be like financial stability. Then it include the G20 major economies. Along with this, whatever the countries of G20 all they are there, and it's based in Basel, Switzerland. Then section 7 of RBI Act 1934 so it's important. UPC can ask like what is section 7. So remember this section was not under earlier, whatever the RBI was established by 1934 Act, but the section 7 was not there, but it was added during nationalization of RBI in 1949. So what is this section 7? So it empowers the center. So center is empowered to give any direction to RBI. Normally what happens now, RBI is like autonomous institution and it works autonomously, but in case of there is emergency or anything, center can give direction to the RBI. That's under the section 7, but there are two conditions for that. First is like consultation of governor should be there, and it should be in the purely public interest, not for the self interest or the political motivated. So with this we have covered the monetary policy and credit policy part second. Tomorrow we will come with the next topic of economy. Thank you so much.